Hello and welcome to Stretty News TV. Dale O'Donnell here talking about the 3-3 draw with Newcastle at St James's Park. Of course, the result is disappointing, no question about that, but we were entertained. The results, it doesn't really reflect on how I feel about the game because the game against Sheffield, for example, we got through to the next round in the FA Cup, but still the performance was just so poor, it didn't even feel like a win. There wasn't many positives to take from it. But tonight, a draw against a really poor Newcastle side, it doesn't feel like a defeat. The performance was just so much better than we're used to. We were entertained. It wasn't the boring Man United that people have been talking about all season. But Newcastle were poor. Um, Decisions, in terms of decisions, people spoke about the penalty we've got. And all the commentators were all saying, "Oh, it's not a penalty." People on Twitter were saying it's not a penalty. And the first time I seen it, I was thinking, "No, it's a bit harsh." But then every time I see more replays, more evident that it was a penalty. You know, his hand was up, t- going towards Flynn. He knew the ball was going. He didn't even jump. Why was his arm in the air? It's purely evident. What was he trying to do? Kick it? Clearly not. It was a handball. There's no question about that. It was definitely the right decision. Then the other penalty that Newcastle got, the Chris Small incident, you could argue that two of them were pushing and shoving, and he had his hand on Smalling's head. But that happens every week in the league. Happens in every league, pushing and shoving in the box. And I've said it to someone before. It's about time that's going to be called a penalty, and it is a penalty. You can't do that. You can't get away with that. And it was a penalty. Now, you could argue that there's a lack of consistency there. If that's a penalty, there should be one called every week. Yeah, you're right, but it's a penalty. And they should be given every week because it's against the rules. In terms of performance, we scored 3 goals. It wasn't the 1-0 or the 0-0 that people were predicting when I asked on Twitter beforehand. And as we were scoring goals, I thought at stage in the game the players looked confident in moving the ball. Herrera in the first half was very, very good, but in the second half he began to get a bit sloppy. And his substitution, even though he may have deserved to be taken off, it still baffled me a small bit that Marvin Flaney, on a yellow card and offering very little, was left on the pitch. That really made no sense to me. If United we're going on to and hopefully get 3 points. He had a great opportunity as well. Memphis Depay, who replaced Jesse Lingard, provided a fantastic cross onto Fellaini's head, and he failed to put it away. This is a player that we brought in that one of his main attributes is supposed to be his heading. And he can't head a clear-cut chance. There's been a lot of chances this season he's got, and he's put them straight at the goalkeeper. He's not even related to a Manchester United player for me, and the quicker we get rid of him, the better. But yeah, he was probably one of the main negatives for me tonight, and especially the fact he was kept on the pitch. Herrera was good. Wayne Rooney, the captain, was man of the match, and you can't say that often this season. I've seen full-time Devils that come up with a good pun. New year, new Roo. I think is what they've gone with. He was very good tonight. A cracking goal for the third, and he puts penalty away. And he set up Jesse Lingard with a fantastic assist. It was a different Wayne Rooney to what we've seen in 2015, which was a very poor year for the striker, and hopefully this year he can push on with the Euros in the summer too. He's going to want to try and cement a place in Roy Hodgson's squad. After in Brazil there was always question marks whether he deserved a place when Daniel Sturridge from Liverpool was in such hot form. Steve McLaren's side are a poor side, and it's a shame that we entertained so much but we couldn't put them away. But you see, it's like one step forward, 2 steps back. You talk about United have like the second best defensive unit in the league this year, and I think that's a bit. It doesn't tell the full story really. Fans have complained over and over again about Van Gaal playing two defensive holding midfielders at home to teams like Sheffield from League One and so on. But when you consider the game against Wolfsburg, which is quite similar to tonight, we fell flat on our face when we go out to attack. We wanted to watch United go out and attack, But when you have egg crashed in your face, you kind of think, Van Gaal's how we think, it's a results business. If I keep doing this, I'm going to concede super amounts of goals, and we're never going to win. And that may be down to the personnel on the pitch. I don't think Morgan Schneider got enough support from Herrera or Fellaini tonight. And we know how important he was to Southampton's brilliant defence in years gone by. The defence itself tonight, Chris Smalling had a very poor game. I mentioned he was at fault for the penalty. He was arguably at fault for all 3 goals. But I think everyone's due a bad night every now and again. I don't think it's fair just to pinpoint him. You know, there's 3 other defenders there that should be doing their job. I know J.A. Blin's not a centre half, but you know, at times when Rio Ferdinand had a bad day, and we speak about the combinations, Nemanja Vidic would step up or vice versa. That's what you call a good defence. We haven't got one. And I think Chris Smalling this season has been fantastic, and he's been running it by himself. So when he doesn't have a good performance, you can really see just all cave in. And I wouldn't blame Chris Smalling, because look, everyone has a bad game every now and again. That's just human. You have a bad day when you go to work sometimes. That's just human. It's not as if he's on a bad run of form. I'm sure hopefully against Liverpool at the weekend at Anfield, he's going to step up to the mark again and hopefully lead the back 4. Because Van Gaal he's going to need some sort of result at Anfield now. The fans have turned on Van Gaal, and they really will if he doesn't get a result at Anfield. So yeah, you can look at this. I suppose it's 2 points dropped. Everton are in the relegation zone. We should be trying to improve on last season's top 4 finish, but right now I think we're kind of even more struggling for that kind of finish this year. Will we get top 4 is the question. Right now, I don't know. There was talks over Christmas that Van Gaal would get a sack and someone else to come in. The board's seemingly kind of backpedaling now after all Ed Woodward's briefings, and looks like they're going to stick with their man. There's something you can admire about that, and there's other things you can say, well, we're not getting the results, how can you stick by the man? So just to wrap this up, the performance, look, I'll give the performance probably an 8 out of 10. I know it's probably over the top, but I'm looking at it as an entertaining factor. And if you are a neutral, you must have really enjoyed the game tonight. Obviously, I was a bit pissed off for us conceding 3 stupid goals. Obviously, the penalty was deserved, but yeah, that pissed me off. But there was an entertaining factor again. People weren't falling asleep. I enjoyed watching the game tonight. It was 2 teams end-to-end stuff. It was brilliant football. And the way sport was fantastic, and they paid her hard-earned money to go and watch United tonight, and they were entertained. You know, and that's what football is about. Football is also about winning, but sometimes in these days we're not going to be winning league titles, and we're not going to be getting to European Cup finals, and United are a long way away from that, sadly. So leave your comments in the comment section below. Straight News TV will be back function again properly. I know we kind of say this every now and again, and we kind of go off the boil and we come back, but we're back again. So make sure you subscribe, put your comments in the comment section below. I'll try to get back to you. Ian, Johnny, and hopefully Serge will be putting up content too, and hopefully United can get 3 points the weekend against Liverpool and we can march on again. Come on, you Reds. Thanks for watching.